Okay, my friends, many of you have been with me for 10 years or so, where I have been presenting my evidence, and I mean evidence. I'm talking about serious, scientific, verified evidence, and total silence from the people we trusted to educate us. Now, this is WTNH TV, Channel 8 here in Connecticut, and they claim to help people that have no other resort, and they will investigate. Now let's see if that's true. Okay, my friends, I have nowhere else to turn. I have tried and reached out to everybody literally in the world. Now this is WTNH TV News 8 investigators specialize in bringing your stories that you're not going to see anywhere else. Their report focuses on topics that matter to everyone and everyone that lives and works in Connecticut, well, everywhere else too. And it strives to assist viewers that need help and have nowhere else to turn. I am in Connecticut and I have nowhere else to turn. I am turning to WTNH News to investigate what I am going to present, which is evidence that has been suppressed. And I have nowhere else to turn. I tried everywhere. So if they won't help me, I don't know what to do. Okay, the heart of the matter is I discovered what I eventually called mudfossils, which are these fascia-facilitated fossilization. These things fossilized in a manner nobody ever realized before. And I said fascia is instrumental in perfectly preserving fossilization in wet, fine, continuously wet mud. The product can be exact copies of the living creatures, flesh, colors, and all, and I have them, and they are giant creatures. That is the fingertip of a human being. I've had it DNA tested and CAT scans, which I will show you right now. Because they are giants, and because of this complete overturning of everything that we've been taught, it will not be allowed to be shown. That's suppression of valid scientific information. It's not discussion. It's not saying, no, it's wrong because of this, this, or this. It's suppression. They will not allow it to be seen. That's why I'm turning to Channel 8. Okay, this is a video I did 8 years ago. I had to close this channel. It became a nightmare. And this was from 8 years ago. Human giants, 100% mitochondrial DNA match. 3 tests I'm done on them, and I'll show you I had DNA tests and CAT scans and everything else. I discovered them in Connecticut, USA, so I'm hoping for my Connecticut Channel 8 to help me. Now, I went every route possible to try to get somebody to pay attention, and so that's why I'm hoping Channel 8 will help. This goes back to 2015. There was DNA tests, 3 of them done, by a very reputable lab. They did a fabulous job. PCR, that's top-end stuff. PCR DNA analysis. There was 3 things. One of them was a gigantic fingertip. Another one was the lung, which is here. And the other one was this mud tip, fingertip, which is here. And I have the whole hand and everything that fingertip came from. And this is all the secret. This is what they did. I mean, this is serious, serious stuff. And all the different elutions and, the primers and, what they found out from the results and, stains and it goes on and on and on. Excellent quality DNA sequences obtained from the 36-inch tip and the lung. The mud tip was not as good, but it still was. He said it was, it was no question. Homo sapien mitochondrial cytochrome B and D loop region in these dense, excellent quality DNA. Now, I extracted the DNA myself and I sent it to him, and he said it was basically like a bloody substance almost. It was just completely, I took it right out of the artery, let me put it that way, so it was red blood basically. And these things do have a lot of blood in them, a lot of blood. As I'll show you in this, in the lung right here, you can see it just saturated with blood, that red right there. Once you get inside, past the fascia, there's all kinds of blood in these things. Okay, I extracted samples of blood, literally, from the arterial places in these specimens that I have. And I sent it off back in 2015 to a very reputable lab, Helix Biolabs, very, very high quality, excellent job they did. PCR, that's top end stuff. And they both, all three of them turned out to be positive for human DNA. And two of them had extremely excellent quality DNA sequences obtained from the 36's tip and the lung sample. And they did everything. They were Homo sapien, mitochondrial B and D loop region. And they did all the CTAGs, which is the protein sequences. And I mean, this is not something off the shelf swipe and boom. I drilled into these to get the blood out of them. Now let me show you what they were when I extracted. These were the three things I sent. This was the lung. I didn't send them the entire lung. I sent them the sample that I extracted. I extracted it right out of the red blood area. And these have extremely dense with red blood. And I drilled into here somewhere with just a little pin drill. And you extract it, you put it in plastic bags, you know, glassine bags, double layered. Of course, you do it very carefully. But what it came out of here was just really literally red blood. You see this one? This is another lung. These are the alveoli, little alveoli holes. And this filled with silicon. That's what they are. And it leaked blood out of it. And this is understood now. The silicon was the preserving agent that did this. But all of the universities refuse to speak because these are giants. Let me show you the giants. This is about our size, but I have giants too. All right, I've done everything on this. I've got my CAT scans, I have the chemistry, and the whole 9 yards. Now I'm going to show you a fingertip that is absolutely enormous, and it has that little pad that is in between the fingers so that they don't bump into each other. Now here's what it looks like. All right, this is a fingertip, and I mean, I'm serious. This is 3 feet long from back here to the very end here. This is the vein and artery coming up to service the fingertip. This right here, you see this? This is the fingernail. That's the fingernail. And not only that, this right here is that little bone I showed you, that little pad that goes between the bones so that they don't scrub with each other. So you got your vein, you got your artery, you got your bumper pad, you got your fingernail. This piece was attached. And when I saw it, I said, well, this is a fingertip. And I needed to get down inside to get some blood. So I broke off this piece right here. And when I smacked it with a big, well, not big, but I think maybe an 8-pound sledge, bam, it popped right off like a scab. And here's what it looks like when it popped off. It's a fingerprint. It still has some of the fingerprints. The fingernail was up here, ran way up like this. This is the fingerprints. These are the sweat pores. All right, take your time and look. Sweat pore, fingerprint ridge, ridge. And that's right next to your fingernail. All right, you got a tiny little bit of blank skin, and then boom, you go right into your fingerprints. And these are fingerprints. And that popped right off like a scab, just like this. And right underneath was just plenty of blood. Fingers and toes are saturated with blood, literally saturated. So I took blood right out of there. You know, it was red and clay-like, but it was blood. All right, this is how easy it is to get blood out of a fingertip. They're just saturated. And that's the blood coming down, and they're just totally saturated. Okay, so this is this grip skin, this right here. You're going to see this again because I had another giant hand that I also had DNA tested. All right, here's the giant hand. This is a left hand. If you put your left hand back, that's your thumb going there. There's this tendon that runs right down there. You can feel it on your own. The little finger goes off this way, and this is, you can see it's like almost puttied. The padding that runs down to that little finger. And this is the pad that runs around. Excuse me. And this is the cleave in between the two pads. This is the grip skin. You see, remember I showed you that other, I whacked it and it popped right off? Same thing with this. It's just literally glued on like a glove on your hand. This is the tough stuff. They call it grip skin. I do traction skin. It's like a heavy-duty fabric, much heavier duty than the rest of your body skin. And it's made to do this process, and it's made to peel off. Now that hand, I have all kinds of parts from that, and this fingertip is from that hand. And I have knuckles, and I have a bunch of stuff from that. And it was DNA tested human. All right, and now I'll show you the CAT scan from the fingertips. All right, now this is this fingertip right here. And I broke this piece off so I could get down inside and actually see the bone. Because the bone is there. But you don't see it because the actual flesh was still here. All right, now, what are we looking at here? This is the back of this bone. The bone is here, and the rest of the flesh surrounds it. This is the bone. Now, what you're going to see here is the two tendons. This one and that one. Now, one of them is black, and one of them is white looking. All right, take your time and look at it. This is, again, the bone. This is the white side tendon, and this is the black side tendon. Well, the reason is they have blood running up through here. You see that? That's, I believe, vein blood, which turns black. And then we also have this one here, which is the artery side blood, and it doesn't turn black. Arteries just sort of drain out. But this is a different situation. They turn black. Because you got hematite and you got magnetite. That's all you really need to know. It's two different states of iron oxidation. Okay, my friends, I guess that's it. This is the best I'm going to be able to do, is hopefully somebody will finally investigate this. They claim that's what they do. This is the big story. This is the big story. And if it's not done by Channel 8 here, I don't know who's ever going to do it. They claim this is their specialty, and they will do as many investigations as they can. And they want my contact information, and they will have it, and they will have this video, and they'll have all the pictures, and they have the CAT scans and the DNA reports and everything they want. But I need to have this investigated because it's suppressed. And it's suppressed because this points to something in our ancient past that has been covered up and has not been allowed. And it's not being allowed till this very day. And this has been presented to all the top universities literally in the world, and zero will confront this information. So my last hope is News Channel 8, WTNH, Connecticut. All right, they could stand up for truth, and that's what they say they're doing. They'll investigate. They may find out I'm just a fraud. If that's the case, well, that's the case. I don't think they're going to find that out. All right, I love you all, and I'm hoping for some kind of closure to this.